If you look around, you'll see the world can be pretty smart. Okay, very smart. At Capella University, we think education should be smart too. That's why we're reshaping online learning with our FlexPath format. You can set your own deadlines, take classes at your own pace, even leverage your previous experience to move faster. So when it comes to earning your bachelor's degree, you know what kind of choice to make. A smart one. Visit capella.edu to learn more. Capella University. Don't just learn smarter.
The Formula One weekend started a little early, Kunal. We had some brilliant entertainment with young Filipinho Massa and his brilliant race with Daniel Ricciardo. Did you watch that?
Oh, yes, it was such an amazing race. I think they finally cracked the best qualifying format that Formula One could ever use: rock, paper, and scissors. But here's the thing. So, motor racing can be and is hereditary. It's like a family business or a legacy to take forward.
But Kunal, that is not true if you're a girl. If Bernie Ecclestone is to be believed, women are not equipped to drive Formula One cars. I cannot believe what he said. Women are flying fighter jets, and I'm sure Formula One cars are pretty manageable too, right?
I am fairly sure women can do as good a job as men do in those Formula One cars.
Whoa.
So Bernie Ecclestone also said that he backs Donald Trump as president.
Kunal, I think that's only because he can't stand for president himself.
There's no chance in hell that Bernie Ecclestone will back Bernie Sanders. You see, he wants to be the most important Bernie in the world.
And of course, he won't back Hillary Clinton. Well, she's a woman, Kunal.
Back to Motorsport legacy, and just cause you inherit the legacy and possibly the genes doesn't mean that you're quick. I can't think of examples while I said that, but wait a minute. Nico Rosberg.
Ooh, ouch. Kevin Magnussen.
The next big name to inherit a motorsport cockpit, a really quick motorsport cockpit, is going to be Mick Schumacher, or so I hope.
Fingers crossed.
Yes. So back to Filipino. He showed amazing car control, probably better than his father, Felipe Massa.
Well, forget how he drove, which was brilliant. But the manner in which he sprayed his champagne, my God, that for me was certainly the mark of a champion. Question is, did Felipe Massa actually hire Max Verstappen's PR agency to launch his son? Gotta admit, some serious good stuff going on.
That's one heck of a question. But we cannot forget Daniel Ricciardo. Take a bow. What a driver and what a sport.
Hilarious.
Can you imagine Lewis Hamilton doing something like this? If Hamilton was possibly with Filipino, he would have probably gone into the 2008 season and said to that little kid how his father was unfair to him on track in that championship year. Yes, I'm being a little mean.
Very mean, Kunal. But the one person who will be watching that video extremely closely, Danny Kivat, on how to beat Daniel Ricciardo on track. He's racing for his seat in 2017. Max Verstappen is close on his heels, and Max isn't going to give up.
So there is already a hint. Helmut Marko has already dropped a hint that Max Verstappen could be promoted to Red Bull Racing in 2017. Now, firstly, if that happens, Ferrari and Mercedes will look elsewhere. Pascal Wehrlein, probably will be the happiest driver in the world. He will breathe a sigh of relief.
And Danny Kivat, back to Toro Rosso, the emotion.
Well, I can tell you, Vladimir Putin will not allow that.
Maybe this is just a ploy to get that Russian team on grid finally.
Oh yes,
a big
maybe.
Conspiracy.
But again, if Verstappen doesn't get promoted to Red Bull Racing, will he or will he not be a free agent? A crucial question as the silly season will come closer.
A war of words has been raging between Red Bull Racing and Mercedes on the 2017 rules. Do we need a change? Is the big question.
Mercedes don't want a change, and that's very obvious.
And Red Bull Racing do. Very obvious again.
So, historically, rules have always been changed in Formula One to slow the fastest team down. Ferrari and Red Bull both have suffered in the recent times, and Mercedes will too. And personally, I think the rules need a change, but not so much so in the lines of what's being discussed, but a lot in the lines of what the drivers and very crucially Pat Simmons has been talking about. Rules that aid overtaking. Simmons said something very insightful. He said, let's have mixed grids, and that will possibly incentivize the teams to build cars that can overtake each other. Because at the moment, teams are very happy to build cars that take pole position and win from pole. And maybe this is the difference in perception, of how teams see motor racing and how fans see it.
That is very interesting, Kunal.
Thank you.
Fernando Alonso made a statement that private teams will be unable to win.
That again goes back to give everyone Mercedes engines.
You had to bring that up, didn't you?
I will quote Bernie Ecclestone here. One of the smarter things he said is Red Bull Mercedes. If Red Bull had a Mercedes engine, so that's a private team with a Mercedes engine which would be manufactured by a works team, I can tell you Nico Rosberg possibly wouldn't be leading the Drivers' Championship.
Wow. Rio Haryanto, news is that he is short of money and he needs some $4 million, pounds. Still
a lot of money, basically.
A lot of money. Kunal, Formula One is in really, really bad shape when the paid driver runs out of money. The government of Indonesia is running an SMS campaign to raise funds for Haryanto to race.
Testing their patriotism, I tell you. But I cannot
Maybe they're just testing their mobile network.
But I cannot believe they are going this far to get him to race in a manner. And in this day and age of WhatsApp
and Snapchat if you're Lewis,
they are still relying on primitive texts.
But Kunal, I am sure that Rio Haryanto will be on the grid in 2016. After all, this is the year of Rio.
Well, she means the 2016 Rio Olympics.
Yes, I do.
I'm very curious to know what Bernie thinks of this crowdfunding initiative, because they're relying on advanced mobile technology like SMS.
Advanced in Bernie's book, at least. Hamilton has a 36 points deficit to Rosberg, something we all know. But Bernie still backs Hamilton, which basically means that it will be a Hamilton year at the end.
Oh,
Any
my God.
surprises?
I really hope not. I really also wonder if Bernie sees a lot of himself in Hamilton. After all, both of them are the ones making controversial statements on the sport, one after the other.
The only ones making controversial statements.
Johnny Herbert too. All of them are Brits.
Oh, yeah. And both Bernie and Lewis are on some rich people's list released a few days ago. Here's a question. Will Red Bull Racing play a role in deciding this year's championship? I do suppose Nico Rosberg will need them and as many allies as he can get to keep Hamilton at bay.
Oh, yes. And Hamilton said that he's actually waiting to fight Nico Rosberg, and I wonder what he's waiting for. This season, for a lot of us, actually all of us, started a month ago. This also can be comparable to golf. It's like Hamilton is in some way giving Rosberg a handicap.
That doesn't sound nice at all.
Well, golf is an interesting sport, though.
I'll grant you that. Toto Wolff said that Lewis Hamilton is handling his bad luck and form like a true champion.
I have no idea what he means, and I can assure you, Toto Wolff has no idea what that means as well.
Stoffel Vandoorne has said that Super Formula is actually better than Formula One. But of course,
it's the superhero version of Formula One, if the name is anything to go by. And of late, we've actually had an overdose of superhero movies anyway. Actually, we also have a Hulk on the grid.
Ooh, the Hulk. And then another rookie went and said that Formula One is like rocket science.
Forget the new age fan. It seems that even the new age driver isn't all that interested in rocket science Formula One. We need a rule change.
We need a rule change. Van Doorn scored a podium on his Super Formula debut. Congratulations. Woo!
Wow. Isn't that amazing? Reminds me of Kevin Magnussen all over again.
Though I'm sure if someone asked him if he wants a McLaren promotion, he'd probably say no.
No.
Perhaps the only team on the grid where demotion is actually a good thing. Danny Keybat, are you listening?
So, McLaren didn't give Kevin Magnussen his promised McLaren 650S. And I think that's a good thing for him, right? A McLaren road car will never be a Ferrari road car.
And imagine how hard it would be to return a car on email. Well, the bad news is that Kevin Magnussen could have a Renault Kwid as his factory Renault car. Fernando Alonso's PR machinery has been on overdrive, going on and on about him being the best out there and being able to beat whoever in the same equipment.
I wonder if Johnny Herbert's silly video prompted him to activate this PR overdrive. But anyway, what he stated is what we anyway know. And there is no doubt that he is the most complete driver on the grid.
I thought you'd say that your ever-insistent chant of give everyone a Mercedes engine would have prompted this from Alonso. Question is, could Formula One ever move to equal cars? Ever?
I would love to see it move to equal cars, but let's remember, Formula One is actually an engineering championship where one engineer outdoes the other. So I really doubt that's going to happen. Bad luck, Fernando Alonso.
Lucas Di Grassi said that Hamilton and Vettel would both have a tough time in Formula E.
I can only remember the tough time Lucas had in Formula One.
I can't remember Lucas in Formula One. Nico Hülkenberg and Sergio Perez, both of them complete 100 races in Formula One in Russia.
Wow.
Good job, boys.
Well, the other driver who could score 100 in Russia could be Rosberg. If he wins, his tally goes up to 100 points.
Wow. But coming back to Hülkenberg and Perez, Kunal, it's a strange statistic that both the drivers are reaching a century of races at the exact same time.
I know. Yeah, it is very strange to me. They'll have one celebratory cake.
Saves the team a lot of money, saving them on parties and cake and publicity material and all of that. Question is, will the Force India drivers score more points?
Let's hope.
Let's hope.
Also, the bigger question to me is, do Hülkenberg and Perez have a future in Formula One? I think they do, but just a couple of years. If they don't get a breakthrough with the top team, they're doomed.
Ouch. Is Force India doomed because of Vijay Mallya and all the issues he's been facing?
Ouch.
Well, we don't know. But news is that Vijay Mallya's new official address is Lewis Hamilton's father's old house.
So it's...
Wow.
So when you can't get Hamilton, you get Hamilton's father's ex-house.
Kunal, it's that time of the podcast where we make predictions for Russia.
Yes.
Are you ready, Kunal?
Always.
Go for it. Rosberg or Hamilton, quick.
Rosberg.
Or Ferrari?
Well, Rosberg.
Ferrari
claim that they are only a tenth behind Mercedes, and we'll probably see in Russia. They've exchanged engine tokens ahead of this weekend's Russian Grand Prix as well. I don't know if it's for more power or more reliability. Wisdom would say reliability, but let's see.
I think we all know that unless reliability is an issue, we will see two Mercedes cars and a Ferrari on the podium.
Yes.
But maybe, just maybe, a Red Bull too.
Well, I can tell you, Ricciardo will be all charged up after losing to a Massa.
Massa Jr. Kunal, I don't know about all that, but the one person I do know will be on the podium, and that is Vladimir Putin.
And I look forward to Russia because they will answer a lot of questions as well. One of my favorites is, will Nico Rosberg leave Russia with 100 points? Or will Lewis Hamilton score his third consecutive win in Russia?
And will Putin be the only spectator in Paddock Club? And will the race director cut away to a visual of Putin walking in and Bernie greeting him?
And if this will happen when Rosberg overtakes Hamilton for the lead of the 2016 Russian Grand Prix. Stay tuned, guys.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.